Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. My name is Lucas, and today what we're going to do is we're going to be looking at different UI kits in Figma, and I'm going to show you kind of how to transfer a UI kit from Figma into Lovable, and then in Lovable basically build your app off of that UI kit, right? So we have this first one, which shout out to, let me check what her name was. I think it was like Jessica. Let me just search that up really quick. So shout out to Isabella Shire for this amazing Airbnb UI kit that you posted in the community for free. So thank you so much for that. But basically, yeah, so we have this, these finished UI kits from established companies like Airbnb or Apple or Uber, for example. And then we have other tools like Relume. So I've made a few videos on Relume. Relume is a great tool to generate sitemaps, wireframes, style guides, and import that into Figma, right? And Figma is basically where all the design starts when it comes to, building a web app. Like I said, you can use Relume to generate style wireframes and sitemaps and bring that into Figma and kind of adjust the style guide. So right now this is Roboto, but we can change this to something else, like maybe like a grotesque font, like this one, Shipstead Grotesque. And basically this would be your font for, your whole app, right? Like this is kind of the basics of creating style guides. So you have, we have right now this Airbnb one, and we have this Relume one. The Relume one is a more custom solution. So first off, we're going to start off with the Airbnb UI kit and bringing that into Lovable. Well, first we have to kind of prepare the package and then bring it into Lovable and test to see how that works in terms of building something with the specific design kit. And then I'm basically going to give you like a little guide through of creating your own style guide and bringing that into Lovable, right? So if this sounds interesting for you guys, let's get started. All right, so first things first, we have this UI kit. Let me just put it right over here. And I just wanna go over this whole file, right? So we have this cover image, which if I zoom out, we just have that. And here we just have like a breaker. And here we start seeing certain things. So we have the components. We have accordion, buttons, cards, callouts, checkboxes, chips, drop-downs, inputs, navigation, reviews, radio buttons, tabs, toggle, tooltip, tiles. So I believe we also have that here. So instead of going through all of these, we have that all here in this components page, which is, thank you, Isabella, for being so helpful with that. But basically, so we have all of these components that you see down here in here. So we can just ignore all of this. And then we have the colors and typography. So we have colors, so we have different shades, we have different neutrals, we have primaries, gradients, right? These gradients look very nice. And we have errors and accents. And then we have typography. So we have this header, which is, let's just kind of inspect this. It's SF Pro. And then we have body text, which I believe should be the same SF Pro, right? So SF Pro is a nice sans serif font. And then we have these different elevations, which are different shades, different types of shadows. In this case, I'm just gonna not use that because in some of our, in some of our cards, we already have that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put these all together. So I'm gonna create a new page and it's gonna be called transfer because we want to eventually transfer this to Lovable. And I'm going to put a little heart just to remind me that it's for Lovable, right? So we got this transfer. And now what we want to do is we want to bring in all of these different components. So I'm just going to select them all, drop them in here, and then I'm going to go to the colors and typography and do the same. So I'm just going to get these two, drop them in here, And then the elevation, like I said, we don't really need for this specific tutorial, but we have everything else. So now the following, let's just go to Lovable, and let's say that I want to import this already into Lovable. So if I click on this, it says import from Figma. It says use the builder.io Figma plugin, right? And if you click this, it basically takes you to this, plugin page for builder.io, which, by the way, I've used for other types of, for another video or another 2 videos, I think, where it's a really easy transfer, right? You just have to click on the plugin in Figma and just wait. And then, but an important thing is that you have to select a frame using a frame, so one frame using auto layout. So we have to select one frame. And right now we have several frames. So that's kind of the problem, right? Because this one frame is going to be our whole style guide. So with that being said, I want to put all of this into one frame so that we have a style guide page in our Lovable app. So what I'm going to do is the following. I'm going to get these different things. Let me see if I'm going to grab these. I'm going to grab all of this on the top and right click, and I'm going to just group this. That's what I want to try to do. I guess I can't. Well, so it says that it's already grouped. I would want to get all of these actually in the layers panel, and I want to put them in a new kind of frame. So that's like the next challenge. So convert to frame. Perfect. So we have this as a frame, and now let's just get these two and put them out of the frame. So accordion. Okay, so now all of these are in their own frame. Okay. Okay, so let's just get these. What are these? These are also their own frames. Okay. So now let's just try again and hover over this and group this. I want this to be kind of going like this and distribute this space. And as you can see, it's kind of in a weird, so vertical. So what I can do is just add some auto layout to this. So I'm just going to go here, click on auto layout, and I'm going to make this go downwards like so. And I'm just trying to see why these guys are acting so weird. Okay, so these are kind of like in a special format. Okay, so let's just leave it like this and add auto layout to this, going downwards, add some spacing. Let's distribute the space. Perfect. So this is a little bit messy. I'm sorry for that, but let's just keep it like that. So it's going to be a very wide file. Like I said, I'm just trying to, see how this would work. So we do have one frame, and let's just put this in a frame again, or group the selection. I want to make sure that everything has auto layout. So let's just make this rectangle buttons. Let me see something really quick. So let's just detach this. Okay, so now this would have this nice. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and try to transfer this like this. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to go ahead and use this plugin called builder.io. So manage plugins. We got builder.io, so run. And then it opens the interface. It would look something like this. It's loading a little bit. So in this case, it opens. You have to log in, obviously. And then once you're logged in, it gives me a few warnings, right? It says large selection detected. It says that it's larger than 3,000 pixels. So as you can see here, export a smaller selection at a time for best results, okay? So low auto layout usage. So I guess there's not a lot of auto layouts, but let's just export to code, right? And let's see how long that takes and what the results are gonna look like. All right, and then over here it says view code in builder. No, we don't want that. We want to open in Lovable. So let's just do that. And now it's gonna export the code again and automatically import it into Lovable. So this might take a few seconds for you, maybe a minute or two, but eventually, hands off the keyboard, it's gonna, export the code, and then it's gonna automatically go into your browser and open a Lovable new file with this specific selection that you just exported with Figma. So let's just see how this works. I don't know if it's gonna work so well, but let's just see. I'm just showing you all the different ways of doing this, and sometimes some ways aren't gonna work, and then until eventually we find a way that does work. So let's just hold on tight and see how this goes. All right, so now Lovable just opened. It is creating the project from the Figma design. So let's just try to see how that goes. So you can already start seeing kind of the components that it's building. So we have the drop down, and then we have these different sizes. I hope I don't see any fixed sizes, because that's going to be a problem. So I see a lot of flex, so that should be good. Then we have these cards. So there's a bunch of different components that's, it says error build unsuccessful. Okay. I mean, it's still loading, so let's just see how that goes. It says that I can't find a few of the components, but it's still loading. So this might be a problem, exporting the UI kit like that. We might have to just export the colors and the typography and maybe some of the buttons, like the basics of the UI kit, right? So that might be the first, that might be the next step solution to this. So as this continues to load, well, the designs were imported from Builder, so we don't really see anything. I think it's a good idea to not have too many things in the Figma file. So I'm just going to close this tab, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to Figma, and I'm going to undo a lot of things. Just undo until we are back to normal. I think here, yeah, perfect. So we have typography and buttons and colors, sorry. So this, I would say, is the most important thing to have in your in your style guide. So what I'm going to do is the following. I'm going to create a frame like this. This frame is going to have auto layout going downwards, perfect. And then I'm just going to put this inside, and I'm going to put, well, let me put this one inside as well. And then we have these different colors. Okay, maybe they should also be with some auto layout. So let's just try with the Shift A, Shift A, Shift A, Shift A, Shift A. So I'm just making sure everything is, you know, Shift A, auto layout. So that it's nicely imported into Lovable. So that's the first thing. And these two can be a group and can have auto layout. These two can also be a group, have some auto layout. So I'm just preparing this document to have auto layout. I think the Relume document is actually looking really good. So that's actually something to, you know, keep in mind if you are going to be using Relume. It does a really good job applying auto layouts automatically to the style guide. Very helpful indeed. So let's just do auto layout here, auto layout here, and these two should also have some auto layouts. I wonder if this, yeah, this one does. This one too? No. So group, auto layout. Gotta group these, auto layout, and auto layout, group, auto layout, and auto layout. Then we can select each one and create auto layout. And then we can remove this. We can put this on the side. So we have our first auto layout from the colors. And over here, we can do the same. These two can be auto layout. These three can also be auto layout. So I'm just selecting them all and then clicking Shift A. Right? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to group, put these all together, auto layout, and we can put them like this. Oh, I forgot to, let me undo. I forgot to put this one also into that auto layout group. So now we can go like this, and this is going to be hug the contents, and we're going to want to have some spacing here. I wonder why these are together. So hug contents, there we go. So these two are going to be also together. So right now we have these two together. This is going to be our style guide. And now what we can do is we can add some other stuff. So we can add like the buttons. I wonder if these are auto layouts as well. Yes, perfect. So I'm just going to detach them from the component. We can just pick one of these. I think this one is good. Can bring this down here. Auto layout this. And then we can use these two as well. Let's detach them and bring them down here. And then I just want to align this like so. Auto layout this, auto layout these. Let's call these buttons. And then put these together eventually into their own auto layout. So go like that, boom. This one would be called typography, typo. Then we have colors. And I think if we name our layers, it's going to be very helpful, right? So if we were to name this, for example, shade 1, shade 02, and we don't really need these two, for example. But if we were to rename our layers like that, I think it would be easier for Lovable to kind of understand the different colors and what's, you know, what needs to go where. This, for example, is very important. I'm going to detach this. And if this was a auto layout, this would be so helpful, but it's not. Is it? I don't think so, right? So if you want to like use this card, I would suggest just adding auto layout to all of this. Going something like this, you know, just selecting the things that go together. So I'm going to detach this. I'm putting everything that goes together into like its own little group. And just set this to 0 and this to 12. And then 0 and 1. There we go. Put these together. These are already an auto layout, so that's great. And then let's put these together. Let's put all of this together. This one we can fill perfect. Let's put all of this together. Let's make this an auto layout. Okay, and now we just select everything and we put it as an auto layout. And this would also be an auto layout. And this would be kind of set to fill. And also height set to fill. And here we have 20 pixels, something like that, right? And we can have like something like 12. And then we can bring this card into our little style guide sheet here. And I think that's fine for now. I mean, we can do that for all of these things. It's going to take quite some work, but I think this is good for now. Let's just, again, ungroup this and select all of these different groups and then put that as an auto layout. I'm going to add some fill and we're going to add some padding everywhere. And we want this to hug. Or let's just make it fixed. Like 1200, I would say. Okay, I think this is good for now. With this, now let's just try to do this transfer again with a much, reduced version of this. I actually want to just rename a few colors because I want to just try to see how that works with the naming. I think it's going to be much more organized to work with. This is an AI tool, Lovable, so I think it's helpful for that AI to understand what they're working with. So let me just go like that, and then let me put like neutral 01. Do that for these other guys too. Neutral 03, neutral 04, neutral 05, 6, 7, and 8. And then we have the different accents. So we have accent 01, accent 02, discount, okay, and link. All right. And then the buttons, maybe primary buttons. What is this? Tertiary buttons. I'm just going to put secondary in this case. So secondary buttons. Boom. And this would be the card. Okay. And let's see this header, body text. So I'm just going to put headers, body. This is what? Body link. We can, well, let's just see how big these are. These are 16 pixels. So I'm just going to put body 16. This is what? Body 18. Body 14. And we don't really need these. This is a little bit too much. So let's just delete this. And I think we're good like that. So let's go ahead and grab this, go to plugins, go to builder.io. And then we select this and we actually don't get any warnings, right? So let's just export to code and let's just do the whole process again and see how this works with a much more minimalized approach, right? So it would finish in like 10 seconds, maybe less. Let's go open in Lovable and see how long that takes. So after less than 2 minutes, it finally opened in Lovable and it says build a pixel perfect UI clone of this Figma design. And it's now creating the components like it did last time. I'm not getting any errors as of yet. We have these different things here, button variants, color block. So we have the names like we from the layers, right? So this actually helps a lot. So discount link, for example. Now these are the different buttons, and boom, we actually get it here in Lovable. This actually looks pretty good. It's almost like what we want, but not quite. Still, it's a little bit, a little bit fine tuning needed, but that's fine. You can do that in Figma. It's great. I have to say, it's really cool. Anyways, we got this, and now comes the big question. We have our design style, our UI kit in Lovable. Now, I want to create a page. I want to create an app with this design guide, right? So let's just start like that. Let's start by creating a dashboard, or not a dashboard, like a type of marketplace page, right? Where we have different offices, right? Instead of houses like Airbnb does, we can do something like offices or houses. I don't care. Let's just build something that we can show this, that we can see if this design guide actually is taken into account of, right? So hello, this page under index, this index page is the app's UI kit or apps design style guide. I don't even know what the difference is, to be honest. Style guide. Please create a, so let me just type this again. Please create an additional page called marketplace where there is a navbar, heading, a hero section, and a list of different properties, and a list of different properties. Please use the card component. The card component for the property card. Also, please use the header text for, please stay consistent with the typography. Please stay, how would we say it? Like, also, please use the typography, styles, and colors from the index page. Please rename this index page to style guide. Let's see how. Also, please use the typography, styles, and colors from the index, from the style guide page. For the marketplace. Is it called marketplace? Yeah, marketplace page. Okay. Period. Enter. And let's wait and see for what comes out. So I'm just letting the video run, and let's just see these results now. So, and in the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to Figma, and I'm going to go to my Relume, and I'm going to actually make these, adjust this styling a bit. So what I'm going to do is I want to actually bring or put these two together into its own there we go. And I want to open this in builder.io. So large selection on quality degrades for selection. Okay, so it's pretty large. So I don't really need these things here. I don't really need these titles here. And let's just say we can remove some of this. So let's just select this, boom, there, remove. And now let's remove this. And now we can try it and go ahead and use builder.io. It's still pretty big. Okay, it's still like 3,200. So let's just remove this and remove the title. Let's see. Okay, now it should work. Okay, perfect. Export to code. Let's wait for that. And then here it says, okay, featured, find your perfect stay. And it's kind of using the same type of typography, nice, and button colors, styles as this. It's looking good. So, okay, and actually this is the reserve. Okay, so please add an image layer on the top of the card component to preview the property in the card. So let's just write that. Let's go back to Figma, and now we just click on open in Lovable. So let's just do that. And while that opens in Lovable, I'm just going to be, analyzing this. It's looking pretty cool. We have three different properties using this card. Obviously this card needs to be kind of refined a bit, but this is a great, first step into bringing things in from Figma. And I've added an image layer that sits above the booking. Okay, so now this is looking great. This is looking much better. Okay. This is actually really cool. And now what we want to do is we want to actually go back to Figma and see how this is going. So the import is finished from the Relume one, and we have a build unsuccessful. So there are a few things that were not imported, I believe. Maybe that's the case, but to me it looks pretty good. So I'm just gonna write, build a marketing, or how would you write it? Build a landing page with the index page works as the index page is a style guide for the app. Please create a dashboard using the color brand colors and so these didn't really import correctly. These have to be a little bit larger, and I'm wondering why they didn't. Maybe it's because it's not maybe it's because it's here. It has to be kind of detached. That might be a reason why it didn't really import correctly here. But so please create a dashboard using the color brand colors and typography provided in the index page. Okay, so let's click enter, and then we can move on to the other one. And what I can do is I can be like, hey, Lovable, so I want to actually use this as a card instead of that. Please. So I'm going to go back to Chrome, and I'm going to attach this screenshot once it's available, and it is here. So please use the image attached as reference to how the new card design should look like. The user should have the ability to favorite the card, the properties with the heart by clicking on the heart icon. The users should also have the ability to switch between images by clicking on the small circles at the bottom of the image. So let's just describe it like that, and let's see this. So it says I asked it to build a dashboard page, and it did. And it says welcome back. Okay, so it's kind of working, right? We have this background color, we have this text, which I believe is the grotesque one, maybe not. And we have these different colors, right? So it's doing pretty good. This is kind of a new thing, but it's working. So we got this index. Now we want the marketplace. It's still cooking. And I also want to kind of ask it about this nav bar. So maybe I can just go like this. And maybe let me just redo. Get this, export it as an image and export it as navigation. And then I'm just going to click on save. And then I'm going to ask it to, okay, so it kind of combined it with the old one. And you could click on the hearts, which is pretty cool. But that's a good step. Now I want to ask it to do this navigation. So I'm just going to attach the image that I just exported. Can you please make the navigation look like this? And then we got that. And now here, I think this is just a good example of what I can do. I don't really want to do anything, waste my prompts, but this is just a good example of what can be done, right? And now let's just wait for Lovable to make this new nav bar, and we can kind of click here and see the process. And this is also a good way to learn coding, right? So you can see kind of how it works, right? We have Lovable is built on React code, so you can kind of see here import React from React. And then we have these different things. So we have globe, menu, search, user, button, booking card, link. So these are the different components from this nav bar. And then it is doing something interesting. But yeah, I'm very curious to see how it creates something from a screenshot. Like we can obviously bring in that nav bar from Figma. Wow, look at this. It does it actually pretty good. So, and the styling is very nice. It's using the style guide from our style guide page. So from this page over here. And it's doing it pretty well. We actually have a nice shadow, right? And I actually want to compare that to the actual Airbnb website. So, I mean, if we go like this, it also has some type of shadow. So it's actually doing a pretty amazing job. And this has to be a little bit rounded, but you know, it's kind of the same type of thing going on. This is also like the same, you know, interaction here. And this kind of is black. I actually like it black more. It's pretty cool. And we got to change the logo. I mean, this is something that you got to do. This is just something that you got to do, right? So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I don't want to go a little bit, I don't want to go any more deeper, but I just want to show you guys the possibilities that there are with this. We can even publish this and preview it in the browser to see, you know, how it works in terms of responsiveness. I think it's always, you know, a good way to kind of preview our app. And eventually we can create a super base. So it's looking pretty cool. I really like it. And then we have these different properties. The property cards aren't looking so fine. Again, we have to kind of refine that in Figma before we import it. Make sure, I'm actually curious to see why this, for example, is on top of this. So if you go back here, we can kind of see how this is built. And it's kind of strange why it's doing that, but yeah, maybe next time we have to import this one, right? So we have something working. This is something that we built in, you know, 30 minutes, which is crazy, but we have something working. We have a nice nav bar that needs a little bit of functionality, but it's looking great, right? So this is just a quick preview of how it, you know, how something in Lovable would work. And we can go ahead and preview the other one that we built as well, although it's not really so impressive as the Airbnb one. You can kind of see a little bit of a preview. So let's just go like this and see our dashboard. And we have our style guide here, which is pretty cool. And then we can put, I think, / dashboard, and then see our dashboard like that. Beautiful. It's all responsive, using the colors from Relume, using the typography from Relume. So, you know, eventually you'd want to add your own type of typography, your own colors, and so on and so forth. But this is just a quick, you know, guide on how to do that. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was pretty fun. This was something that I was wanting to do for the past couple of days, and we finally did it. I think in one of these next days, I'm going to go really, I'm really going to do a deep dive into, you know, actually building an app with a style guide in the beginning. I just think that it's important, you know, to have a style guide before you actually start building the app, because I think that this is like a head start for you, kind of. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me in the description, in the comments below. And yeah, hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.